Hi friends, welcome to Moody Blooms. I'm Mary Ellen, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Zamioculcas zamiifolia, which is also known as the ZZ plant or Zanzibar Gem. It's got a bunch of different names, but this particular plant comes from Modern Garden, and you can check out their website at moderngarden.co, and if you use code Moody Blooms, you'll get 10% off your purchase. So definitely check out their site. They have beautiful plants, beautiful pots. There's plenty to choose from, so definitely check them out. But this beauty is the ZZ plant, and they have these beautiful leaves that are ovate and shiny in this deep green color. And I just love this plant. It's so low maintenance. It's probably one of the easiest houseplants to keep alive. So if you're looking for a plant that, doesn't die when you go on vacation, or if you are a forgetful gardener, these beauties are perfect for you. They have very low maintenance and they're very hardy plants. If you are notorious for killing plants, give the ZZ plant a try. I promise this is the easiest plant to take care of. If you go on vacation and forget to water your plants, or if you're at home and forget to water your plants, this guy will survive. Another reason why we love this beauty, other than it's just a beautiful plant, it always look how shiny these leaves are. It looks like there's leaf shine on there, and there's not at all. They just are beautiful, shiny plants all the time. The ZZ plant also has very low water requirements, and it's also drought tolerant. And it doesn't need to be in super bright light. It can be. It loves and thrives in bright light, but it doesn't have to be. It actually does pretty well in low light conditions. It's one of the few plants that you can put in a dark bedroom or a room that doesn't get sufficient light, and they still will thrive. So that's another reason why I love these beauties. Now, I'd suggest keeping these away from direct, intense sun, because the leaves can sunburn. Just like humans that, we get too much sun and our skin will burn, the plants can also burn. So make sure that you do pay attention to that and make sure that they don't get any direct, super hot sun, because it will leave brown spots on the leaves. ZZ plants grow from thick, large rhizomes that look similar to little potatoes. And these rhizomes actually store water. Now, the plant itself stores quite a bit of water too. The ZZ plants contain an unusually high amount of water. Their leaves hold about 91%, and then the petioles carry about 95% water. So that's great. You got the rhizomes, the leaves, and the stem all holding onto water. So that's why these beauties can go for so long without water. Now, some people say they can survive for 4 months or longer, but I wouldn't go any more than 2 months. That's just because, they do still need some water. They won't survive off of no water, but at most, I'd say about 2 months would be the longest I would go. For best results, I'd water about every 3 to 4 weeks, keeping them happy and healthy. As far as temperature for your ZZ plants, they thrive in about anywhere from 65 to 80 degrees, and they just are such awesome plants. They're so low maintenance. So if you do notice that they are in a drafty area or by a vent, then you might want to move them, because that could cause the tips to turn a little bit brown. And I'd say as long as the temperatures don't drop below about 59 degrees Fahrenheit, then you should be fine as far as temperatures go, because you don't want them to get too cold. The average height of most of the plants is about 16 to 32 inches. And the plant may have a spread of anywhere from 20 to 40 inches. Larger plants may have a 3 to 5 feet spread. I would fertilize your ZZ plant about 1 to 2 times during the growing season, which is about spring through fall. ZZ plants don't require a lot of fertilizer. You're welcome to do so if you want to give that little extra boost to your plant. I would recommend a liquid strength fertilizer, and definitely at half strength. ZZ plants are also very easy to propagate. They are wonderful at propagating in either soil or in water. Now, there's a few ways to propagate your ZZ plant. You can do so by separating the rhizomes, or you can take a single leaf, or you can take a few leaves, which is what I like to do, and then chop off the stem. And you can see on this older ZZ plant that I have, if you look right here, see how this end right here, you can show that it's been cut. And this was kind of getting too long and heavy, so I just went ahead and trimmed that and then made some new plants. It's also a good way to shape your plant if it's outgrown its particular location. Mine's kind of on a top of a high bookshelf, and so it's just getting taller and taller, and so I just trimmed it back just a bit, just so that it could be nice and full. ZZ plants do produce small, bright yellow to brown or bronze flowers, and they're partially hidden among the base of the leaves. Look for flowers between summer and early autumn. Now, one downside of these beautiful plants is that they are toxic to your pets. So make sure to keep your furry little friends or babies or small children away from ZZ plants. I personally have never had any issues with them. I mean, mine are all kind of up high, so I don't have any little ones running around trying to touch them, but all parts of the ZZ plant are considered toxic to humans and pets. They can cause skin and eye irritation with direct contact. If you're worried about it, just be sure to wash your hands after you touch the plants, or you can always wear gloves as well. Now, to keep these beauties nice and healthy and shiny, I would say about every 2 to 3 weeks, take a soft, damp cloth and wipe the leaves. And this is to allow them to better photosynthesize. And I would suggest using a soft, damp cloth with warm water. If you use cold water, sometimes they can actually leave some spots on those leaves. Another wonderful benefit of the ZZ plant is that they remove toxins from the air. They're perfect to keep in your bedroom while you sleep, or in a family room or a living room, or anywhere you want to add some beautiful green to your room. Researchers found it especially adept at removing volatile organic compounds. Not only is it beautiful to look at, but it also has a purpose. It's also an excellent feng shui plant. It has been said that it helps bringing protective and purifying energy into the air inside homes. Now, this tropical perennial is native to Eastern Africa, from southeastern Kenya to northeastern South Africa. Now, occasionally I get emails from you on my Instagram and Facebook regarding specific problems with your ZZ plants. So I love getting those. I love hearing from you all. Now, they are not perfect plants. They are probably one of the closest to perfect houseplants that you can get because of their low maintenance and beauty and lack of care that they need. But they do have some issues. And occasionally I get emails from you saying, hey, my ZZ plants are turning yellow. What do I do? So perfect example of that is actually I have one to show you. And if you can see right here, this plant was left for so long, embarrassingly long, without water. I completely neglected this plant because, you know, they're so foolproof. So you can go for long periods of time without watering, but your plant will definitely suffer. And especially this little baby one right here, you see that? It was just kind of a new shoot that was growing, and so it didn't quite make it. So just be sure you do keep an eye on your plants to make sure you do remember to water them. But again, they're so forgiving, so you know, you may lose a couple leaves, but they'll sprout a few more too as well. So another thing that I get asked is why there's these little black stems, spots on the leaves. Let me show you right here. You can see along here, see there's like the little kind of darker shades. You can see it even actually more right here. And like I said, these are on top of a really tall bookshelf, and then there's a pretty good sized light that's pretty close to it, and I think that it was getting just too much light. From what I've read, that they're not harmful to the plant. They won't cause any damage, but yeah, here's some more on the stems. And yes, occasionally I will use some little zip ties or garden tape is what I'd rather use, but I ran out to keep them a little bit more upright, because eventually they will get heavy and they will start to lean. So you could use, you know, stakes to kind of try to prop them up. This one I used like a chopstick, and then I used some garden twine to keep it nice and upright. But yeah, those little spots, you know, is probably from too much either sunlight, or in my case it was actual fluorescent light, so it just got too much, too close to the plant. So I rotated a little bit, and that seemed to fix the problem. But again, they will not harm the plant, so you'll be just fine. Another problem that I get asked about the ZZ plants is when the leaves and stems are starting to droop. Now, over time, as they get really huge and heavy, they'll eventually droop, but that's normal, and there's ways to prop them up, kind of like we discussed earlier with the chopsticks. But another problem could be from overwatering. When the soil is so saturated and it's so heavy, it'll start to kind of bend and not have the structure that it needs from the firm soil. You have to be really careful not to overwater your plants because they can cause root rot, which can damage and eventually it can kill your plant. So just be really careful not to overwater your plant. Now, there are a few other reasons why it could potentially be falling over, and this is because of, maybe too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer, stress from cold. It also could be from lack of light, severe underwatering. So there are a couple reasons why it may have some droopy stems. You just got to find out which one of those reasons are actually causing the problem. If your ZZ is droopy on the outermost stalks, it may just be getting older. The bigger they get, the droopier the stem seems to get. They're totally fine, just older. The newer ones come in straight and then droop over time, and it's completely normal that they droop. You can simply tie them with a soft string or with some garden twine, or you can just embrace the drooping. It just depends on your space and how much room you have. Sometimes we're limited by space with these big, huge plants, so we trim them back to allow for better space. Another question I get is, why are my ZZ plant leaves curling? The most common cause of curling ZZ plant leaves is too much sunlight. If the leaves are curled and have brown spots, then it's most likely too much sun. ZZ plants prefer medium indirect light. If exposed to direct sunlight for too long, the leaves can curl as they try to move away from the light source. However, it could be from the roots being too root bound in their pot, or it could be from colder temperatures. With adjusted watering placement or repotting in a larger pot, ZZ plants can be revived. So to wrap things up, the ZZ plant is a die-hard plant. They're so easy to care for. They thrive on neglect. They need very little water, don't need a ton of light. So, what more could you want in a beautiful houseplant? Make sure that you check out Modern Garden's website at moderngarden.co and enter code MoodyBlooms at checkout to be sure to get your 10% off your purchase. Thanks so much for joining us on Moody Blooms. We hope you learned something new about our stunning ZZ plant. Just wanted you to check out my Just One More Plant shirt that my cousin got me. She knows me well. We hope to see you next time on Moody Blooms.